Full disclosure right up front here, this gold farm works so well that it may break the game for you, and once you learn this farm, you can't unlearn it. Also, while this video is a lot longer than most of my other guides, I still consider this quick because of the amount of information I need to go over to ensure full understanding. With that being said, on with the show. What's up guys, thank you for tuning into Ice TV. My name is Philip Price, and in today's Gaming Guides Done Quick, we're going to show you the fastest gold farm we've found to date in Dragon's Dogma 2. If you find this video or any of my videos helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe. Doing so really helps the channel to grow. Okay, so before we begin, I need to go over a few things about how this farm works. You probably clicked on this video because you want to know how to make 1,000,000 gold in 10 minutes, and with this farm, it is absolutely doable. It just can't be done over and over ad nauseum. And the speed in which you'll hit your 1,000,000 gold will depend on a few different factors. Let me explain. In Dragon's Dogma 2, there are precious stones and gems that can be sold to specific vendors for large sums of gold. In their descriptions, you can see that jaspers should be sold in Batal, tiger eyes should be sold in the Sacred Arbor, and onyx should be sold in Vermund. The one we're going to focus on for the purposes of this gold farm is the onyx. You can sell these to any vendor in Vernworth for 2,400 gold. Remember that because it'll be important later in this video. Now, the only things you need to complete this gold farm are tarring arrows, exploding arrows, and a main riftstone. How many tarring and exploding arrows you want to stock up on is entirely up to you, but I recommend having at least 20 of each. Tarring arrows can be bought for 80 gold, and exploding arrows can be bought for 50 gold from several different vendors. For now, we'll focus on Roderick right here in Vernworth. He sells 20 tarring arrows and 10 exploding arrows and will fully restock every 2 days. So you can go rest on a bench 8 times, sleep at your house or an inn twice, or however you want to pass the time. But in 2 days, he'll have another 20 tarring arrows and 10 exploding arrows for sale. The amount of tarring arrows and exploding arrows you start this farm with will have a direct correlation to how much and how fast you make your gold. You can also get him to lower his prices if you max out his affinity with you by giving him gifts. And in case you're not aware, you can actually see what kind of gift every NPC you've ever met likes by going into the history menu and locating the NPC in the NPC logbook. You can also filter down the list of NPCs, mark them as favorites, and even see them based on their location by hitting the corresponding buttons right here. Anywho, Roderick likes interesting items, which are common monster parts, weapons and armor, as well as fancy items like rare potions, spell books, and uncommon monster parts. So yeah, those goblin horns clogging up your inventory? Just give them to Roderick.
Just what I was waiting for!
Personally, I don't feel like a 5% or even a 10% discount is worth the savings because the return on investment for this farm is so high, saving 5 gold per arrow is kinda meaningless. Now that we're stocked up on arrows, dismiss one of your hired pawns so that it's just you, your main pawn, and one hired pawn. Then, simply head off into the rift. You'll want to do an advanced search and set the pawn levels to 1 at minimum and 5 at maximum. Don't touch the rest of these filters for now. They play a big role in this farm, and I'll explain how later when it makes more sense. For now, the default of any vocation, any gender/race, quest knowledge set to yes, any inclination, and search by weapon skill off is fine. Now, once the first wave of pawns shows up, change the what's this called?
I don't know what it's called. I just know the sound it makes when it lies.
Whatever it's called, change it to specialization/quest and look for the pawns with the arrow symbol. This means that these pawns have a pawn quest that requires you to give them 1 arrow to complete it. Now, that could be 1 tarring arrow, 1 exploding arrow, it could even be 1 drenching arrow, but those are rare. This is the part where your skill is going to determine how fast you'll make your gold. You're looking for pawns with the pawn quest to receive 1 arrow with a reward of 12 onyx. Remember what I said earlier about the fact that onyx sell for 2,400 gold in Vermouth? You see where this is going? So, when you find a pawn with the right pawn quest, simply hire them, give them the arrow they're asking for, and then dismiss them. One factor that does slow down your runtime is the fact that every pawn you dismiss must be given a gift. Just make sure the item in the first slot of your inventory is something you don't care about and have plenty of it. Another factor that will play into your runtime is that sometimes you'll come across a pawn that will have a different reward for their arrow quest. Rewards like cursed Dullahan bones or allheal elixirs, for example. All pretty good rewards. Okay, so find the right pawn, hire them, give them the arrow, dismiss them, lather, rinse, and repeat until you've cleared the first wave of pawns. If you're extremely lucky, during the first wave, you'll be able to do this 9 times.
9 times?
9 times.
But more than likely, you'll run through the first wave before running out of arrows or getting a 99 onyx stack. Once you do, simply do another advanced pawn search. This time, we're actually going to use the filters to reduce the chance of getting the same pawns whose quests you've already completed. So just go to the inclinations and filter for only kind-hearted pawns. And you don't have to use these filters in the same order that I am, just so long as you understand how using the filters rotates the pawns out. In total, you should be able to summon 8 waves of different pawns, with an additional 4 waves of pawns for each quest you have active.
What the hell does that even mean?
Remember how I said filters play a big part in this farm? Well, quest knowledge being set to yes means that it'll summon pawns with knowledge of the quest you currently have set to priority. So if you change the quest you have set to priority, then that means it's another 4 waves of pawns that you can summon, 1 for each inclination. Anywho, keep running through waves of pawns until you either run out of arrows or have an onyx stack, and I can guarantee you'll hit 99 onyx by wave 3. Once you have 99 onyx, don't dismiss the last pawn you hired. Instead, leave the rift with them in the party. Give them the 99 onyx stack, and then dismiss them. Doing this will send the 99 onyx stack into your storage. Then head back into the rift and repeat the farm. Once you have another 99 stack of onyx, leave the rift and this time give that stack to your main pawn. Head back into the rift, repeating the farm again. Leave the rift and give this stack to your one hired pawn. Head back into the rift, repeating the farm one last time, so that when you leave the rift this time, you should have 4 full stacks of onyx in total. 1 on your arisen, main pawn, first hired pawn, and storage. Now, head over to the Vermouth vendor of your choice, and when you go to sell, go to your onyx stack and hit the Select Multiple button. Then hit the Sell Multiple button, but before you hit Sell, go to Change Amount. This will now allow you to sell all 4 stacks at the same time for a grand total of... Okay, so I lied about the 1 million.
Well, whose fault is that?
It's your fault.
Tough shit, that's the cost of doing business.
But 950,400 gold from a single farm run is still the fastest gold farm available, at least until they patch this. But that's it. Now, I honestly have no idea why there are so many level 1 pawns with these quests. It just makes no sense to me why so many people are doing this. If you're one of the fine folks setting their pawns to these quests, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear the reason behind the madness. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You made gold not even a worry for me in this game. So until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay tuned to ICE TV.
I shall be proud to serve you, Arisen. 'Twill be an honor to serve by your side. The sun climbs high. My master from beyond the rift. I'll serve with redoubled vigor this day. Fair travels, Arisen.